this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Red Embrace Hollywood. We are here. Charisse is planning an attack on us. I don't know what the fuck to say to that, but we won't show them mercy. I guess. I don't know. I shouldn't say that, as I don't know how to protect my own self. As more and more of the crowd started listening to our conversation and chatter slowly fading into soft word mutters and whispers, people started moving closer to Randal and me, and as if they were expecting some kind of important announcement. Then it sounds like tomorrow's gonna be our big last stand. A grim expression clouded Randal's features where I couldn't see any trace of enthusiasm. We've gotta make it count, because if we fuck this up, I don't think we'll be getting another chance. The Scary and the ghouls won't wait for us to get even stronger. When we head to the base, we could try and talk things first, or just charge as soon as we see them. End things as soon as we can. But as much as I like to read some kind of last-minute treaty before shit kicks off, I got my doubts still feel much like talking. We should try and talk with them as long as there's a chance. There won't be a compromise we have to fight. I'm not sure. I'll leave the decision up to you. It's gonna be a fight. There's no compromising at this point. Sorry, Randal. Then the time for talking's over. Tomorrow we'll kick their asses. Of course, the cheers rang out after Randal's reply. They seemed eager to tear into the enemy right now. What about Queen Bitch? Yeah, what are we gonna do about her? What if she sticks around? Two loud voices impatiently called out from the big crowd, echoed by murmurs of agreement. Yeah, there's still one thing we gotta agree on. I know I've talked a lot of shit about Queen Bitch, and she deserves it, that fastest Prada-wearing fucker. She can't stay in this city, that's for fucking sure, but we don't have to kill her either. A few unhappy mutters sprang up at that, but most of the crowd waited for Randal to continue. Michiko, you put up with more of her shit than any of us. What do you think? Charisse doesn't deserve to die. We should let her escape. I hate her, but I don't want her dead. She has to be killed. I hate her, but I don't want her dead. Yeah, I'm with you there. Then, well, let her leave the city as long as she never comes back. She better not fucking come back. Randal's words were met with cheers of approval, though they seemed a little quieter than before. Because they want death. When tomorrow comes and we face them all head on as a unified group, that means the real revolution is finally here. And it doesn't matter how many Scar ghouls there are, or how much blood we lose, or how long we have to struggle for our rights, because nothing can stop us now. As Randal's last words echoed through the garage, a chorus of frenzied cheers and yelling surrounded us. But finally the group began to disperse, heading off to prepare weapons or settle down for the rest before morning. Randal was still standing beside me, his eyes closed in a brooding look. What about Andre? I'll be ready for tomorrow, Randal, come what may. Are you feeling okay? Wait, what about Andre? I don't know what Andre's gonna do, but are you feeling okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Just thinking about tomorrow. But don't worry about me, Michiko. He smiled faintly, rubbing a hand along his forehead. Come here for a second, Michiko. I want to talk to you. Yes? Reaching out, I gently grasped my arm. Randal pulled me towards one corner of the garage, where the others' curious gazes couldn't follow us as easily. I could tell his emotions were running high, an obvious stress weighing on his shoulders as we walked. I just wanted to say, I'm really happy you stayed with me, independent, that you didn't get sucked up in the old leader's bullshit or anything else. It's not that I don't trust you, I'm just not used to people always saying what they mean, doing what they say they're gonna do. The war doesn't matter in the end. You're most important to me, Randal, or I follow what I think is right, and I knew I could have joined the other leaders. You thought I was going to betray you at this last second. Technically, he might have, because, you know, it's understandable for him to think that. In the end, you're most important to me, Randal. Damn it, I'm trying to be all serious here and there. Then you go and say cute shit like that. Although his chuckle sounded a little forced, Randal wrapped his arms around me in another hug. This one much softer than his earlier embrace. We spent the rest of the night sharing stories, just like we had that night at Saturnalia. With the threat of tomorrow's conflict looming over us, it was almost impossible to relax, but Randal seemed to be trying his hardest to forget about it. I mean, we can't really forget about it. Our lives are probably gonna be... What the fuck was that? Our lives are at risk right now. I dozed off on Randal's shoulder. A brief escape from thoughts of what was to come. Kind of nervous now. What kind of ending are we gonna get? The smell of anxiety and bloodlust hung in the air. Mavar lurked in the alley on either side of me, murmuring among themselves quietly. As prepared as we were, it still felt like anything could happen at any moment. But the minutes dragged on in silence. An hour earlier, we'd all left the parking garage together. No one wanted to stay behind. Some of the rebels went back to Santa Monica, setting up preparations at the house in case we needed to fall back. The rest of our group insisted I come with them, so I split off with a smaller force to defend them of our hideout in Hollywood. In the end, I decided to fight in the battle myself. I've never seen my girl fight. Stay nearby, ready to help or negotiate. I'm gonna stay nearby. What the fuck? I didn't intend to involve myself in the fight, but I could still be useful. If anyone needed help or if there was a chance for negotiations, I'll be able to step in. And one of those things had to happen. We were spread out in front of the hideout's entrance, keeping an eye out for or scary by other Mavar made sure passing humans didn't get too close. A street or two away, Randal was waiting with another group, ready to protect and secure our escape route if we needed it. Everyone had their weapons ready to attack on sight, but there was no sign of our enemies. Wait, what was that? Huh? What was what? That movement, like a blurry scent close by. I glanced to see two guards at the end of the alley muttering to each other. What the hell? It's huge. It's coming this way. On the right. On the left. What is it? Is it fucking that dude in the sewer? What the fuck are you? Get down! They dove to the ground right as two bullets flew past. At that exact moment, I died. I don't know. Out of nowhere, I felt two giant presences suddenly approaching us. Oh, is it Andre? For a split second, everyone around me looked paralyzed, petrified in fear. It was closing in on us from both sides, thundering footsteps getting louder, crushing us like trapped insects. Whoa! Within seconds, a catalytic fight exploded in front of me. All I could see was gunfire and streaks of blood. Everywhere I looked, corpses were already falling, pools of blood splattering the asphalt. Shrieks and howls bleeded into one constant roar, and the stench of death clogged my senses. Unlike at the club, no one targeted me. They were just charging the first enemy they saw. Ooh! But the deaths were too fast. Bullets shattering skulls, claws ripping open throats, brains smashing to the ground. Blood splattered my face, my clothes, as the carnage around me raged on and on. What the fuck am I looking at? Help me. A hand weakly grabbed my leg, fingers scrabbling against it. I looked down to see a vampire who charged in with us, but his chest was torn open, and through his shattered ribs I could see an unbeating heart. Oh, I don't know. If I save him, am I gonna die for saving him? Let's try it. I bent down to snatch up his arms, trying to haul him out of the fight. As I hurriedly pulled his body towards the wall, our gazes suddenly met, and I saw his mouth trying to form words. Why? Blood drove from his lips, eyes wide and stupefied, and he stared into mine. Why aren't you fighting? I'm not a fighter. If you fought with me, maybe have lived. Shit, maybe you would've. I watched his torn body convulse, fingers tearing at his own exposed fat and tissue, until he suddenly stopped, his dull, lifeless eyes still fixed on my face. Okay. The air blended into a cacophony of laughter, roars, and screams, gleeful and horrified like sounds rising from hell. Some vampires had already given up, turning tail and fleeing for their lives. The others were trying to claw their way to safety, only to get cut down before they could escape. Thank you, everyone. At that moment, a delightful voice rang out over the chaos, sing-song and manic. It sounded so familiar, but I couldn't place it. Is it Lazar? Knew it! I knew it! Until a skeletal figure blurred across my vision, followed by splatters of blood. It was Lazarus, keeping his promise to protect me. Grabbing two guns from the ground, he started to fire haphazardly. He promised to protect me? When? Thank you! The vampires around him tried to dart away, but his bullets always found them. They collapsed one after another, screaming, tripping over themselves. Thank you! Thank you, thank you, thank you! His eyes were huge, bloodshot, full of obscene delight. This is for sure demonetized, right? Somehow he looked cruelly innocent, like a child crushing ants. No matter how much they cried for mercy, his shots kept drilling into their skulls. Lazarus didn't seem to hear them, even as he grabbed fresh guns from their corpse. Oh. For a single moment, Lazarus and I were no longer in an alley. I was the audience and he was the entertainment. I heard myself screaming and I heard his song in my head. He shined and glittered, unreal, untouchable. He was perfect, and I could only worship his beauty. Perfect face, perfect voice, perfect personality, perfect youth, perfect flaws, perfect perfections. Frozen like a mannequin, like Jesus hanging behind the chapel, like a single frame from a movie. He looked like God, but when I blinked, someone else was already taking his place. A different face, a different name, a different voice. A new and a younger God. What the fuck? The chaos seemed to stretch on and on and on, but at last the screams died into whimpers. When did he say he'll protect me? I don't remember that. In reality, the fight had only lasted a few minutes, even though it seemed like forever. But because of their monstrous natures, the results were horrific. All around me, dead vampires covered the ground, headless, limbless, or with their hearts cut open. The stench of their blood permeated the air, belching out from their open wounds. Imagine seeing that IRL. Like, a police just be like, what the fuck? Slowly I realized that we'd won. There were more rebels still alive, some groaning, shuddering on the ground, others helping tend to the fallen. The Golgotha and the Scar had fled, leaving only their dead behind. But we'd lost so many of our own too. How did Lazarus know to come here? All of these corpses would have to be taken away, and one by one they become a tragedy to someone, not just part of a faceless mass. Is Randal okay? Just as I finally stumbled away from the sea of bodies, a human passed by the alleyway. He froze mid-stride, staring down at us at the mangled bodies littering the concrete. The moment seemed surreal. I almost expected to jolt out of a dream from anesthesia and a dentist's chair. To realize everything that happened since that night at the club was one long bizarre delusion, and I was back in the normal waking world. The man's eyes met my own. His pupils, like two TV screens switched off, held a blank look that had to be pure, abject horror. I didn't do anything! Or so I thought, until he shrugged and continued on. It's for like, just another night in LA. At first I was stunned. It was like the horrible sight hadn't affected him at all. But after a moment I realized why the man hadn't shown any reaction. He must have thought he'd wander past the movie set. And somewhere there were eagerly rolling cameras panning slowly across the bleeding corpse to capture every cinematic drop. Because after all, this was Hollywood. That's true. This is Hollywood. Wow. And holy fuck, she's so hot. Man, I didn't know you had such a thing for Golgotha. What would Randal say? He'd probably punch me in the face. What? As soon as I stepped inside the house, a deafening chatter attacked me. It was entirely packed tonight, without a single inch of empty floor space. But that was normal these days. I weaved my way through the crowd, heading towards the back room. I hadn't come here tonight to mingle with the Mavar. There was someone else I wanted to see. Is it my love? Randal? What am I looking at? The lights were switched off, but the room wasn't empty. Ooh! Hi, handsome. What is this angle? What am I looking at? A lone tall figure stood... Okay, I knew it was a mirror, but I was confused. Before the mirror, staring at his reflection intently. What's with his hands? Were they always like that? No, they weren't always like that. He didn't seem to notice I'd arrived. You look handsome. Randal, don't worry. Need help with your makeup? Randal, hello. No, he's quite handsome. I even called it out. No, he's quite handsome. Randal flinched, a look of confusion flickering over his face. His eyes stayed on his reflection for a moment longer, almost like he thought it had spoken to him. Before they slid over to me. Hi. Michiko? After a short pause, Randal broke into a smile. Ah, shit, I forgot tonight was our movie date. Guess I'll have to give you something later to make up for it, huh? He let out a soft snicker, his voice as warm and affectionate as ever. What's with his hands? I moved into the beach house with Randal and we shared this rundown bedroom. It was a little cramped, but things worked out. He always seemed happy whenever we spent time together. In fact, as time went on, he started avoiding his clanmates more and more, making up excuses so we could talk alone instead. But ever since the war ended, I noticed Randal's behavior had slowly begun to change. He was drawing a lot more, scribbling on just about just about everything he could. Papers, tables, napkins, his mirrors, even his hands. A lot of it was artistic, the usual grotesque figures he seemed to enjoy sketching. Other times, though, Randal wrote indecipherable words, long strings of letters that I couldn't make heads or tails of. He never gave any explanations when I asked, only that he was drawing whatever he felt like, and the drawing seemed to bring him comfort. I found him like this more frequently, too, standing in front of the mirror, staring at his reflection. Again, he always evaded my questions, offering me something like, I can't tear away from my beautiful face, where I was just practicing kissing. Do you have another you inside of you that's speaking to you that I can't see? Maybe he'd finally explained himself one day. But until then, I was left mystified by his strange habits. Huh. That's interesting, I guess. At least he still has his hobby, you know? He's picking it back up. Somehow, several months had already flown by. After the huge fight, we let Charisse escape the city, along with a large group of scars still loyal to her. The last we'd heard, she was heading down to San Diego, which had a fairly small coven and no real leader. Nothing bad could happen there, surely. As for Andre, he disappeared from the city before we could catch him, and so did Lazarus. One of them probably caught up with the other, but I never found out who survived. If it was Andre, he'd probably surface again sooner or later, but if Lazarus had managed to kill him, well, it seemed unlikely that he'd come back to LA. Wow. Okay. With no more strict rules in place, Coven had settled down to a strangely easy peace. Although Randal's clan of rebels didn't technically exist anymore, the number of vampires who looked up to him seemed to grow every night. Some of the scarring Golgotha even gravitated towards him, drawn by the increasing amount of stories and legends people shared. But as the war's chaotic nights slowly faded into a distant memory, it seemed like Randal would never escape the role of a leader, the leader that everyone wanted him to be. People always came to him with problems, begging him to fix them, or offering new ideas for laws to keep the Coven safe. Others wanted Randal to help liberate Covens from his scarred role, like the one in San Francisco, or to use his power to influence other leaders. And amidst all that tension, adoration, and an unending stream of demanding voices, the only voice I never seemed to hear was Randal's. Aww. And as for David, I promised to reunite with him once the war ended, and I kept my promise. What? Of course I would keep my promise. Just like I promised him, I found David a few days later. He almost fainted with joy from seeing me again. After that, his presence by my side was almost constant. But it didn't bother Randal, who almost seemed blind to his existence. Oh, at least Randal wasn't too upset about it. I wonder what all this is, though. Randal's fingers trailed across his face with messy blonde hair caught between his fingers. These days he didn't seem to care as much about his appearance. Glad you're here, Michiko. What is wrong? I wish you could tell me. I was getting real lonely without you. Instead of turning to look at me directly, Randal only met my gaze in the mirror. Through the fingerprints and ink that framed his face. I felt like you were gonna... Something okay? He's not okay, obviously. I felt like you were gone a long time. I don't think you're okay. Are you sure you're feeling okay, Randal? Yeah, of course I'm fine. Don't I look fine to you? No? He let out another mild chuckle, shaking his head to himself. Then after a last long look in the mirror, Randal turned a step towards me. His arms curled around my waist, gently pulling me into an embrace, and he leaned down to offer me a firm kiss. But as Randal stroked one hand through my hair, and I felt his wide, unbeating chest pressing softly against mine, his lips seemed colder than they ever had before. Are you dying? What the fuck? What? What kind of ending was that? What? I don't even know if I like this ending. It was better than freaking Heath's ending because, you know, I died in that one. This one, I'm just left even more confused and I need to sneeze. Oh, what the fuck? Percentage of game text seen 39.22%. What the fuck? Sorrow of the World. I think that's the one I died on. I have two. Comorbid. Locked by Randal. I and Randal. What is this? What? When the conditions are right, special ending choices will be marked red. I don't know how to read that. Logged by Marcus 3. Heath. Oh, so these endings you had to meet these requirements. So Marcus 4 ending, you need to unlock the third one here. You have to unlock Heath's here. Oh god, that's like a lot. Okay. So I got the last one before, like, you know, meeting the others, which is this one. 4. Comorbid. I have no idea what the fuck that means, but okay. At least we didn't die. Because I did die in Heath's route, which is Sorrow of the World worketh death. Because in Heath's route, I didn't get shit off of him. Because I didn't give him enough attention to reach that point. But now that we have finished Randall's route, we can now move on to Marcus's route. And then I'm gonna decide on which one was the most affectionate or like most empowering to me. Right now, it's still obviously Randal over Heath. Heath, I just kind of like fell out of him eventually. Just because I didn't like the way he was turning, like... The way he ended up turning out to be is probably my fault because of my choices. But like my choices were just so doled out because I was just getting so aggravated with Heath. Even though he was the one I was most excited to play as, which I was quite upset. But anyway, I'm quite surprised I enjoyed Randall's route so much. Oh dude, I unlocked all my CGR except this last special one. I gotta blur this one out. Gotta blur that out. I really don't know what happened to Randal in the end. It's quite mysterious. I don't know if we get to learn more about him once we like unlock everything and then get to that ending. Maybe find more information about him. But I have just too many games on my list to be a completionist for this game, so I'm sorry. But obviously, if you guys want to get this game yourself, it's always in the description box. Next time, we're going to be moving on to lovely Marcus. I remember one of you, or maybe two of you, enjoyed, were excited to see Marcus's route. Hopefully, you guys are still around, because I had to put this on the back burner for so long. But anyway, I really enjoyed Randall's route. He gave us so much affection that I really enjoyed. He gave us lots of hugs, kisses, and everything that Heath didn't give us. It's okay. Heath's just a pretty face, I guess. I was actually surprised with how much I love Randall's route because he doesn't seem like the guy I would actually like go to, but he ends up being like one of the greater ones of the two that we've had so far. I'm super curious about Marcus, so I cannot wait to go to his route. Thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.